Hello, class. Welcome to this first week of the term. Just as a reminder, the term runs from, well, we've already started. We're in the first week, starting October 29th, and we go through until December 19th. That's the last day of class. All assignments must be completed and submitted by December, the latest, December 16. Sorry about that. I lost my dates for a minute. But your week 7 discussion response is due by December 18. So let me just go through what I normally do during this session is go through your requirements and expectations for the class so you will have an understanding of what is expected of you. For those persons, there are 2 classes I'm facilitating this semester, business law and business ethics. So I am going to start with business law and I'm going to do a run through of this class and what is expected of you. And then I'll switch gears to the business ethics class so that you can know what is expected of you. So I'm going to start by speaking to the general. This applies to all classes, whether you're taking the business law class or the business ethics class. Each week, I will post discussion announcements to the announcement page, this page you're seeing here. There are 3 standard announcements I will post each week. I will post the welcome announcement each Monday of each week. And that will give you an idea of what we will be covering during the week, what assignments are due during the week, and any general expectations. So that is basically just an overview of what you should expect during the upcoming week. Then on Wednesday of each week, I will post your grades announcement, what we call your grades announcement. And that grades announcement is just to tell you basically the grades for that current week are posted. So once I've completed grading, I will post that grade announcement. So you'll see your grades were posted. And then that announcement also highlights some common mistakes you may have made during the week, and also give you some ideas or suggestions based on those common mistakes. So you want to make sure that you review that grades announcement on Wednesday of each week. By Saturday or Sunday, mainly Sunday, I will post a week in review announcement. And the weekend review announcement is basically a summary of the week, a summary of the concepts. It can be in a variety of ways. It can be in written form. You may see some videos included to help you understand some concepts that I may have seen that you are lacking during the week. So just make sure that you review that week in review announcement. So those are 3 announcements I post every week. But you will find that in addition to those 3, I may post some additional information that will help you with the upcoming assignments. I may post some additional information just to keep you going. I want to make sure that I know we start strong. I want to make sure that we remain strong and we finish strong. So I will post some general announcements to help you. I'm saying this to tell you that every time you log into the classroom, you need to check your announcement page. If you don't check your announcement page, you are going to miss some pertinent information. So make sure you are checking your announcement page every time you log into the classroom, and try to log in at least every day just to make sure you don't miss information. So you may not be necessarily doing an assignment, but log in, check your announcement page, check your messages, just to make sure you stay on top of it. So for both classes, business law and business ethics, you would have seen, I'm scrolling to the end, on the announcement page, we would have posted a number of things. The first thing would be your writing center, your tutor and writing center information. Take a look and a read. Here you'll see a link to how to request an academic coach. So if you're struggling, I would expect your first point of contact would be me. Most of the time I'm able to answer most of your questions, but if you think you need additional tutoring, then this is the place for you. You can go ahead and request an appointment with your academic coach. Then you will see information on academic misconduct. Read this carefully because you want to make sure that whatever you do in the class is of high quality and you are not plagiarizing. And the information is important. You'll see a lot of information here, and I know that most of the time it isn't because you want to plagiarize, but it is because you probably don't understand some of the technicalities of APA formatting. So I want you to go ahead and take a read at this and to have a better understanding of how to avoid academic misconduct. Here you'll see your makeup course policy. That's in every class. You'll see your price model and how we apply it throughout the class. So take a look at that and take a read and see how we can, and look at the video and see what this is all about. I'll try to incorporate some aspect of price throughout the class or throughout the term. In every class, you'll see your Facebook page information. Take a read. We have a Facebook page for online business students, and you're free to go ahead and join the Facebook group. Here are some tips, very important tips for effective online learning. Go ahead and see what is expected of you. There's certain ways that you want to make sure you're responding to your peers, you're interacting, your responses to discussion responses. There's some examples given, and how you may avoid conflict in the classroom. We want to make sure we're always using friendly tone. Here you'll see information on how to help you prepare for your discussion responses. I want you to take a read at this before you go any further. If you find that when you've read this, that your initial discussion response that you posted for week 1 does not meet these requirements, I do encourage you to go ahead and repost your week 1 initial discussion response. I am not going to, if you do a repost, I am going to accept your repost as if it was posted on Wednesday. So, but I want to make sure you're successful. So please go ahead and read this. If you find you're missing some information, like I said, please redo your initial discussion response to make sure you meet the requirements. There's information on how you can access your ebook. So take a look at this. And then here is a chart that I think you should find absolutely exciting. How you can score A+ in your discussion responses. And this further breaks down that information you would have seen earlier on your discussion responses. Go ahead and use this. Use the information here and see how it could be helpful to you. And you'll see my general welcome announcement. This will be different from class to class, obviously, because this is tailored now for class. So this one then would only apply to the business law students. This is a review of what you will be, the concepts that will be covered during the 8 weeks you're in the class. This will be the same for both classes. How you respond to discussion responses, the classroom participation expectations, and your submitting assignments and what you should expect from me. You will all see a welcome announcement I would have posted. That's the same for both classes. And you'll see here I reposted the makeup policy because I just wanted to make sure you didn't miss it. If you have any issues, you feel free to reach out to me. For those students who may have, and this applies to both classes again, who may not have gotten their textbook or may not have downloaded the textbook, I still expect you to participate in the week 1 discussion. So if you've not gotten your textbook, you need to go to the Herzing Library and do some research and use the information from the library to respond to the initial discussion post. Here's another warm welcome that I posted on Monday. I'm so happy to see you. This is very important. This is a skills reinforcement and career focus workshop schedule for the November-December term. Take a look at it. There's some really great workshops here that you want to make sure you utilize and get in on. For example, you have the APA workshop. This is important to help you with APA style. So go ahead and try to get in on one of these. There are a number of them scheduled. Get in on one of them to help you with your APA for the class. Time management, we all struggle with this at one point or another. So go ahead and try to attend your discussion post workshop. This is an awesome workshop. I find that where you're able to post really good discussion responses and peer responses, that you almost guarantee your success in the class. Yes, the assignments are important, but if you focus on those and you post every week and you meet the requirement, you're constantly participating, you put yourself in a good situation towards the end of the class. Your study skills, your writing workshop, there are a number of them. Just take a look and see what you may need. You know your needs better than I do, and go ahead and try to attend as many of them as possible. Here I would have posted this information on how you can use Grammarly now. Grammarly, understand that when you do complete your assignment, you can submit it to Grammarly to do a check for you, and it will check for your plagiarism as well. So make use of this important tool. Now, business law only, for my business law students only. This is a tip that I would have given you on how to complete your week 1 assignment. Here you will see there is a template for the week 1 assignment. Class, I encourage you to make use of this template. Click on it. It is in Microsoft Word. Take it and use it because it's already set up and it's broken down into paragraph by paragraph, telling you what is expected for each section of the assignment. If you use this template, I guarantee that you will do great. Follow it slavishly. It's already set up in APA format, so you shouldn't have any APA formatting issues if you use the template. So go ahead and make use of this. I do try to remind you of your discussion responses and when they due, so make sure you're posting on time. The business law students, again, for you only. I did tell you that between those three announcements I post each week, I also post some information that's important to you. Now, if you would have looked at your week 1 assignment, you would have seen that it has to do with the primary sources of law in some way. So here is a little smart art telling you what those primary sources of law is, so you shouldn't have any problems identifying them in your assignment, should you? But then I've given you an additional resource with some good information to explain these different sources of law. So use the tools that are being provided for you in the classroom. So make sure, this is why it's important that you review your announcement page every day to make sure you're not missing pertinent information. This I would have posted in both classes, the business law and the business ethics. I would have seen as I started going through some of the discussion responses that you are still missing some of the information. So just make sure you go ahead. It is important you understand that you cannot have a reference list without in-text citations, and you cannot have in-text citations without a reference list. So go ahead and take a look at these examples for how you might use your in-text citations and your reference lists. Again, a reminder of the discussion that was due yesterday, a reminder of this session, a reminder of this session, and here I gave you some information on plagiarism. Please take a read. This is important. You want to make sure you're successful and you maintain really good academic conduct. So take a look at it and see how you may avoid plagiarism as you write your assignments. Again, primary sources of law, business law students, here is a video I would have created for you on the 4 primary sources of law. So go ahead and listen to that video prior to doing your assignment for this week. Now, both classes, you would have, after your announcements, you will see your syllabus section where you have your syllabus, your due dates are there for each assignment, your what assignment is due each week. So both of you just make sure you click on this syllabus and download it, and make sure you make a note of the assignments and due dates. Your price model is here again, so you can look at it there. You'll also find your ebook section where you can go ahead and click on this link here. It has already been activated, and you'll be able to download your ebook. And here is some additional information prepared for you on about the ebook. The faculty information page, we will both have this information. Here is my information, my email address, my telephone number, my office hours, the live session, you see when I'm off, and some basic information about myself. So you will both have that as well. Your classroom folders will look similar. It will just have different content. Business ethics, I will go through them with you separately. But for business law students, here are your objectives for the entire course. Then when you go to week 1, you'll see your objectives specifically to week 1. Here are some key terms you should have an understanding of, and here's the objective being covered during this week. Now, when you look at the discussion grading rubric, you'll see that it also asks that the student utilize some of the concepts. When you're responding to your discussions, I'm looking to see that you understand the concepts. Here is a glossary for the week. How are you using these terms in your writing? How do you understand them? So just make sure that you have an understanding of the glossary or the terms that are being used for the week. Business law students, when you click on your week 1 folder, the first thing you will see is the link to this session we're in. So you can click on that to get into the session. You'll see your week 1 sequence of activities, your primary discussion due on Wednesday, your responses to peers due by Sunday. You see you have an assessment due this week that is worth 30 points, and it is due by Sunday. Here you'll see your required readings for the week along with your supplemental readings, and you'll find your supplemental readings in the student resource folder. These are your presentations for the week. They're short, quick clips, no more than 15 minutes. Takes time to review them, please. And here is your final project instructions. The first part of your final project is due next week. And each section is worth 10, 10, and 15 points. So just make sure you take the time to review the instructions and your assignment for the week. Now, every time you have an assignment class, there is a rubric. Make sure you review the rubric prior to submitting your assignment. The rubric is what I will use to grade your assignment. So you want to make sure that when you finish writing that paper, after you've reviewed all the resources that you were given, you've used the template, go back and look at the rubric and grade yourself. Ask yourself, when my instructor goes to grade me, and she looks at all these components, are these included in my assignment? All right, so take a look at the rubric. So in order to view the rubric, let me just go back. In order to view the rubric, I will click on the assignment link here. Then I will click View Rubric. And here is the rubric. If you want to make sure you score all 30 points, make sure you have outlined the 4 sources of primary law, of the law. You've discussed each one separately and in detail, and provide 1 or more examples for each one. So you're not going to provide 1 example and say that I've provided an example. An example must be provided for each source of law. So just make sure that you review the rubric for your assignments prior to submitting. So we've looked at the week 1 classroom folder. Let's take a look at the glossary. And we said those are your concepts. So you would have seen from the week 1 folder, let's go back. Let's see, Commerce Clause is one of the things that is used, the terms that we're using for week 1. So when you go to your glossary and you want to find out what is Commerce Clause, just go click on the C right here and here. is your definition, the term plus your definition. So make sure there's so many tools in the classroom for you. Just make sure that you are reviewing or using those tools. Your discussion posts, both classes, again, if we so want you to be successful in your classroom, that here we've given you another opportunity or the same information in a different place on how you can make sure that your initial discussion is up to standard, as well as your responses to peers. So take a look at these different steps. You prepare, you reflect, you write, and then you discuss. You prepare, what is the assignment? You go through your readings, you do some research, you start to write 250 words, the minimum. Initial, your references, citations must be included, include real world experiences, and then you discuss. You want to engage with your peers, so you go ahead and discuss. So that's your discussion. Now, class, I want you to understand when you are doing your discussion that you need to respond to every section of the discussion question. So please do not respond to one part and not the other. So here, for example, discuss your stand on whether state regulation of internet prescription drug transactions violate the Commerce Clause. This is one paragraph by itself. So just use that one paragraph to discuss it. Include an in-text citation for that one paragraph. Then you're asked to research and summarize the state law in your state on the regulation of prescription drugs via the internet. So you do some research, talk a little bit about it, that's another paragraph, and include your in-text citation. Then you are going to discuss whether you agree with your state's position on regulating prescription drugs via the internet. Indicate whether you favor less state regulation or more state regulation. Here's your third paragraph. So you can use the questions themselves to determine how your paragraphs are going to be structured. And just discuss it. Include an in-text citation for each one. Every in-text citation, make sure you include your reference list at the end. That's your discussion. We spoke about your student resources, that each week you have resources that you can take a look at. Your week 1 materials are here. Click on them, take a look at them. You've got some great information on pharmaceuticals, and these resources will be based on the assignment and the discussion for the week, and these will help you greatly. So make sure you take a look at your supplemental resources. And pretty much that is it. You have your library resources. Oh, and most important, your academic coach. If you need your academic coach, the academic coach for this class is Attorney David Rollmaker. So if you need to utilize Attorney Rollmaker, please feel free. But again, I said your first line of contact would be myself. His office hours, just make sure you see what his office hours are and you're logging in or you're trying to contact him during his office hours. And that is it for this class. I'm going to switch to the business ethics course because I want to make sure that both of you have access to the same information. It's about the same for week 1 throughout. Then in the future weeks, then I'll go ahead and break it down separately. So you would have the same information in terms of the announcements, all the initial announcements. But here, business ethics students, I was reviewing your initial discussion response for week 1, and I noticed that you're not addressing the questions asked in the first part of the discussion question. So just make sure, take a look at this example here that I would have posted. And if you, like I said before, if you find that your response didn't address or adequately address the question, feel free to go ahead and repost a new initial discussion response. Your syllabus, everything will look the same as we did for the other class. So let's take a look at the classroom folder. Here you have is a little different. Your learning objectives for the entire course. Here you have your learning objectives for week 1, your glossary, and the learning objective for the overall course that's being covered this week. Now, business ethics students, you have so many assignments to do each week. So you want to make sure that you are not falling behind. You want to make sure that you complete your assignments each week. Again, at the top of week 1, you'll see the link for this session. Here are the lists of your assignments. You're reminded to look at your key terms and concepts, your required reason, watch your presentations. But then you have a quiz that's due. You have your Unit 1 journal reflection. You have your discussion response. You have your Unit 1 assignment, and you have your Unit 1 assessment. So you have 5 separate things due during this week. Class, I encourage you to stay on top of your work in this class. If you don't, it is quite easy to fall behind because of the volume of the assignments. Here again, you have your required readings for the class. You have your presentations, take a look at those, and then the assignment information. So go ahead, again, as I would have said before in another class, let's see if this one has a rubric. It should. You do the same thing, view your rubric, and it is broken down here for you. So go ahead, and basically, this rubric is telling you how this assignment should be broken down. So go ahead and use the rubric to help you with your assignments. What I can do for you is probably provide you with a template. If you've not submitted your assignment as yet, if you want to wait, give me until tomorrow sometime, I can do a template for you if I've not already done so, to help you out with this assignment. Now, you have your understanding ethics section of the assignment. And this is 250 words to 500. You have, so you see you have all your assignments here. Just make sure that you are reviewing them. I'll give you some feedback on how you can do each of them. I'll probably do that by tomorrow for you. That's your classroom. You have your glossary like everybody else. So let's see some of your terms for this week. Business ethics, an important term. So you go to your glossary. You click on the B, but you don't have to do anything. It's right here. And you see your definition of business ethics. Let's take a look at the discussion response. This discussion is a 2-part discussion. Each of you have learned values from sources such as family, religion, and school. You have to discuss each one, not just one of them. You have to discuss your ethics that you learn from family, your values that you learn from family, your values that you learn from religion, and your values that you learn from school. Discuss each of these sources of your individual values, how they can prove to be detrimental when making complex decisions. In your own words now, you want to define plagiarism. Paraphrase, that's another part. So you have to answer both parts in one discussion response. So please make sure that you are reviewing each part of the assignment. And everything is basically the same. Make sure you're checking your messages. And if you have any questions at all, oh, here are your student resources. Don't let me miss that. Your week Unit 1 supporting links, and each week there will be different resources in your folder. So if you have any questions at all about the assignments, about the class, I'm here for you. What I can do for you is I can post my Skype as well. So if you need an immediate response and you're not hearing me by telephone, you can Skype me, because sometimes I may be able to respond by Skype as well, even faster. So I'll go ahead and post that for you, and you can send me questions if you have any questions throughout the class. I invite you to make sure you're actively participating in the class. Active participation will ensure your success. Have a wonderful, wonderful term. Reach out to me if you have any questions about the assignment. Try to take a look at the assignment before the due date so you can ask me any questions that you need to.